ruling out policies that execute tangible actions on the ground. I firmly believe that by driving seamless collaborations as fostering institutional coordination with intentions and regularity, we can harness full potentials of our federal system to deliver positive change for benefit for people of Pakistan. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the Parliament, Pakistan needs all hands on deck to revitalize its economy. Without shedding all caution to the winds, our primary objective should be to attract foreign direct investment. I therefore urge the government to intensify its efforts in implementing comprehensive ease of doing business reforms and simplifying the existing forest of the regulations to provide an enabling an environment for both foreign and domestic investors. I commend the establishment of the Special Investment Facility Council aimed at attracting and facilitating investment in the key sectors, which is a step forward in the right direction. At the same time, we must accelerate our endeavors to diversify export, enhance the competitiveness of our products in global markets, introduce value addition, and venture into new markets similarly. The huge untapped potential in the agriculture, marine life, information technology, textile sector should be exploited to earn foreign exchange. Any global or national stocktake will tell us that the world is changing fast under our feet. Pakistan has been sincerely devastated by different impacts of climate change, especially in the shape of a catastrophic flood in the 2022. We urgently need to invest in climate-friendly, climate-resilient infrastructure to mitigate the rapidly compounding risk of climate change. At the same time, we need to ensure that clean energy technology from the core component of our national energy mix, as they would not only create opportunities for green economic growth, but would also make energy more affordable for our people. Mr. Speaker, the provision of primary and secondary education is a fundamental right, and its current state should keep all governments awake at night. We must acknowledge the fact that in Pakistan there's a massive number of children who are out of school, and given our population, the number is growing faster than the facilities we have been providing. I therefore urge all provincial governments to bring focus and energy on transformative reforms on education sector, not just on improving access to primary secondary education for all children, but for ensuring quality as well. Mr. Speaker, respected parliamentarians, I am sure all agree that our health sector is in urgent need of rebuilding and scaled up expansion. Regular investments in the primary and secondary health infrastructure as well as human resources are needed to ensure that every citizen has access to quality of healthcare services and that no citizen lacks medical care. Mr. Speaker, a combination of factors has come together to create what I see as a crisis of income and food insecurity. For many of our people, I am pointing, of course, to the large number of our population that has been slipping into poverty either through climate impacts on their incomes and assets or sheer cost of living pressure on the families. It is our responsibility to ensure that they move out of extreme vulnerability within the ability to access opportunities for jobs and resources to reinvest in farms, livestock, and small businesses. I am proud to say that I come from a political background that has rich legacy of empowering and protecting all those at the bottom of the social pyramid, including women. Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto was a champion of women's rights and always went on extra mile in advancing women's causes, just as she sought entitlement of economically and socially vulnerable groups of Pakistan. I am very proud of the fact the Benazir Income Support Program has been providing a lifeline to millions of vulnerable women across the country, offering them financial assistance and social protection, while giving many women the incentives and seed capital to start up small businesses. I'm glad that the number of the beneficiaries of the Poverty Alleviation Program has risen to over 9 million, but we need to bring more underprivileged women into the social safety net. I am hopeful that the new government will actively work to reduce social and economic fragility while aggressively promoting girls' education and health, including programs to reduce maternal, maternal, and enhance mother and child income. Mr. Speaker, you are aware the menace of terrorism is again rearing its ugly head and is threatening our nation's security as well as regional peace and prosperity. Pakistan believes that terrorism is a shared concern that requires collective efforts. We expect neighboring countries to take strong notice of terrorist groups who are involved in launching attacks against our security forces and people.